Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Charity Bailey, and this is the after session with licensed therapist Aurelia Anderson Thompson. The after session is a space where we come to ask questions about the previous episode of Girl We Need to Talk and get those questions answered by the one and only Aurelia Anderson Thompson. Now, episode 7, Aurelia, it was a lot because Kendra Tillman lost a lot during the 2008 recession. She lost a lot of money, investments, friendships as a result of those financial relationships. And when we think about financial loss, a recession, the pandemic, we don't often associate those losses with grief, but those are really big spaces that we grieve in life. Can you explain why that happens and what it means when it's happening?
I'm so glad that you connected the two, that it is a loss. So financial loss is a loss. It is an emotional loss. Why? Because it's tied to our identity. Our money has a way of giving us a certain status in life. That status comes with certain privileges, right? And so when we no longer have that status and those privileges, it shakes us to our core because our identity, we don't know who we are anymore. So there's something, and especially if we know that it's not coming back for a long time. There are individuals who lose a lot and they don't recover 50% of it immediately. 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. So it's now I have to think, who are we now? And I can just imagine the conversations and the arguments that, took place.
Well, Kendra was very honest in our conversation about the fact that she blamed her husband for a lot of it. And I mean, I'm sure you know this as a therapist, but money trouble, financial issues, those are amongst the top reasons that people get divorced. So what steps can couples take to grow in that space instead of, point the finger and pull apart, ultimately ending in divorce?
Yeah, my husband and I, we're working on an online course for marriage in the marketplace. People who are in business together, who are also married or partnered, long time partnered, and trust is a whole episode, or not really episode. See, I mean, I'm on your session. I'm on your show, not episode.
It's a chapter.
It has its own module. Thank you. And trust and rebuilding trust. So you also have to understand that we didn't just get here not trusting each other. We didn't just wake up not trusting. There were little bits and pieces that led to that. So it's going to take little bits and pieces to rebuild the trust. So you have to be patient and you have to be honest. Truth telling. I'm back to truth telling. You have to tell the truth. How did we get here? How did I end up not trusting you with money? I always suggest get a third party involved, go to counseling, so that way you can have someone kind of moderate these sessions. Trust building is hard, but if you can come to an agreement of this is where we are now, and this is where we want to go together, it's possible.
Well, it was an uphill battle. They are once again successful and in a very good place. They have an amazing story. But she did mention that trust was a big, 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 and still happens to be a big part of clearly any relationship, but their marriage. Kendra's very honest about the fact that she leaned on her faith heavily. How do we heal from the shame and disappointment of something like what she felt? And what role does spirituality play in that healing process?
No shame. No shame. Briana Brown talks a lot about shame. She's licensed clinical social worker. She has a TED Talk on shame. No shame. We stand in our truth. And part of our spirituality and how we heal, it is coming to realize this is who I am. This is who we are as a couple. Your spirituality, it's a framework, it's a foundation, it's a point of view out of which everything you do, everything about you is built upon, right? And so in times of crisis, in times of turmoil, like you are able to draw upon it when you literally cannot think of what to do. You'll draw upon the truth of what you know about your faith, your spirituality. For those who don't necessarily ascribe to a particular faith, your spirituality, what you know about your spirit and your spirit guide, it centers you and it grounds you. It allows you to recognize your smallness and bigness in the same body. And then that's from out of that, that's when you get your equilibrium, recalibrate, and then you're able to understand, okay, this is how we're going to move next. And as a couple, as a partnered person, you have to recognize it's a we are going to do this together. And so it's important that the we moves together the same way.
You about to step into some equally yoked territory, and I'm not.
I was about to go there, but I was like, no, we need to. No, I was like, no, let me pull it back.
Listen,
how can two walk together unless they agree? But it's the truth, because it just cannot happen, right?
Right.
So I mean, it happens, but it ends up falling, crashing, and burning. And this is not just with, partner people. It's with anything, any partnerships. So
it absolutely is. But like you mentioned earlier, it's not the end all be all. We have both taken big hits, big losses. Kendra and her husband did as well. They have successful businesses. They're raising, great kids. Their family is intact and they are on track. So if you've taken a hit, especially after the last year that we've experienced and we're still experiencing and have no idea where we're going from here, just know that you're not alone. You're not the only one, and it will be okay. I don't know when or how. Just hang in there.
And that's hope. That's what hope is.
Yeah.
It is knowing that it will be okay, like you said.
Yeah. And it will be okay. Aurelia, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing all of your knowledge and your experience and your heart. Again, we've said it time and time again. For those of you joining us, we appreciate you. Know that this is not a therapy session, but we try to give you some little nuggets and the resources to becoming happy, healthy, and whole. This is the after session. And we appreciate you for joining us. So until next time, see you later.
Bye.